Hi. Hello. How are you? I'm doing well, thank you. Um, I wanted to discuss a little bit today about expectations. As a parent who is also a maker, obviously I just got out of the shower, right? This is something that has just kind of been brewing around in my mind for a while for some reasons that I will further explain. I'm going to do this while I'm using my blending board to make some fluffy bats or roll-eggs. I haven't fully decided. I am blending some Leicester long roll and some Peruvian Highland wool. This is one little roll egg I've made already. Got about 400. I've got 100 grams of each. So I'm just doing a 50-50 blend, measuring out 10 grams of each and combining that in each session, if you will. But okay, back to the topic at hand, as expectation as makers that are parents. And in my last video, where I talked a lot about time management and what it all falls into the same general thing, like, time management, expectations, all of that are different supports of the same thing. I don't know what word I'm looking for. I have not prepped for this video at all because managing my expectations means that I have come to realize that if I keep waiting to be able to prep and to really put some thought into this, I'm just not going to end up making it. So what are our expectations as makers? For each and every one of us is different. We have different hobbies, different plans, different rates of, finishing speeds. We have different scheduling patterns and scheduling systems, and we have different types of kids, different types of needs. We as people are different and have different types of needs. Some are morning people, some are night owls, and our family life reflects that. So, as with most things, what are our expectations as parents and as makers? For me, my expectation is that my making is going to help me feel calm and grounded and satisfied and keep me off my phone, really. If I'm 100% honest, I tend to have an issue with staying off of technological devices. And making is one way that I keep myself busy so that I am not doing that, not constantly on my phone. I don't know if that noise is going to be very loud and annoying for you folks. We'll see. I find it soothing, but it's me. So, I was chatting with a group of other makers recently, and one of the things that we talked about was the expectations of the type of projects that we're going to be able to do. Now, I am a knitter, crocheter, and spinner. Those are my chosen crafts, and the expectations I can have with those are going to be different than somebody who sews or just any of the other crafts out there. Like, I can't speak for experience with those. I can only speak for my experience with making yarn and making things with yarn, not weaving. I don't weave. But the idea is that as a parent, especially a new parent, a lot of people like to tell you that you're not going to have time for your craft First of all, that's incredibly disheartening. And I understand that people don't fully recognize that, especially if they're not a crafter. But that is incredibly difficult to hear, especially if our crafting is a big part of our mental health, our, relaxation. If it helps us stay sober, if it helps us stay connected with ourselves, to find that we're going to lose, or to hear from others that we're going to lose, that is incredibly disheartening. And I think anybody who tries to say that to you, you are within your right to tell them, first of all, fuck off, you're wrong. Second of all, that's not helpful. Oh, make sure you get that in now. You're not going to be able to do that once the baby's here. First of all, you don't know that because you don't craft, you don't make. Second of all, why? Why? Like, are we automatically supposed to, as parents, like, yes, your life changes. Yes, the time that you had previously is not going to be the same. But that does not mean that you lose this thing. And a new baby, time passes, and it passes quickly, and it may not feel like it at first, but it does. So in my conversation with these other parents, most of whom were the ones who gave birth, and so therefore were the ones who, if they could, were breastfeeding. And so that is, in and of itself, can be a particular challenge, but it doesn't have to be. But one of the ways that you can lessen the challenge of it is by modifying your expectations and knowing that perhaps the Marie Wallin Fair Isle Club isn't going to work in the first year, or maybe even the second year. Perhaps, scouring your first 12 fleeces and processing them for spinning isn't going to be in the cards that first year. Doesn't mean you're never going to do it. Just means you have to manage your expectations about it. So no, doing a all over colorwork sweater from Marie Wallin maybe isn't going to work. However, doing socks, small projects, or sweater. I mean, I knit my first sweater while I was breastfeeding. And I taught myself how to knit socks on 9-inch circulars because I also did that while I was breastfeeding, and I didn't want to poke the baby in the face with DPNs, and the baby started grabbing at the loop on magic loop, and I don't like magic loop anyway. But I knew that I had a window of time with which to figure out which technique would work. So I made a pair of socks, and each sock was made with a different technique. Same yarn, same stitch count, same all of that, but I tried different techniques so that I could see which one worked better for me. I worked with the expectation that something was going to be better. One thing was going to be better than another for me. But I didn't necessarily have the time to take 2 months making 2 pairs of socks to figure that out. So I took a month and made 1 pair of socks, each sock done differently. And it worked. Now maybe you already have a preferred method for making socks and all of that. I don't know. But you'll figure it out. The thing about this is that I'm not going to give you the answers to what's going to work because there is no one answer for everybody. You have to figure things out for yourself. That, unfortunately, is the crux of the truth of being a parent that is also a maker. It's just being a parent no matter what, but also being a maker and trying to keep your making a part of your life. Expectations of our older children while we are making. Now, depending on your child's age and the space that you live in and that you share with that child and how much space you have to keep things separate and whatnot is that's all very individual, personalized. You know, your expectation for your older children who, you know, they're walking, they're talking, maybe they're still in diapers, maybe they're not in diapers, maybe they're especially inquisitive children. Maybe they don't give a crap what mommy or daddy or the parent is doing. Who knows? But you might want to look at your expectations in terms of the age of your child. Can you reasonably expect that child to listen to you if you tell them not to touch the knitting needles? Can you reasonably expect the child not to play with the spinning wheel? Does the child know how to open zippers? Does the child know how to untie things? You know, because you can set up barriers all over the place. Like, I have a 5-year-old and a 1-year-old. My 1-year-old couldn't unzip things a couple months ago. Now she can unzip things. So project bags need to be stored a little higher. But I also work on teaching her no. Like, when mommy says no, you don't do that. You don't do that, you know. And so the things that I have around that they could possibly get into if I am lax in putting things out of reach, or, you know, because kids are capable little creatures who will find the ways to do the things that you don't understand how they figured it out. They still lick the wall, but they will figure out all of a sudden how to get to the thing that you don't want them to have, right? And the expectation that you are going to have your Marie Wallen colorwork cardigan maintain in pristine condition if you leave it in reach of the children who don't know how to listen to you say no about certain things, is perhaps, in your family, not the best expectation to have. But if you keep projects that are, you know, I mean, every project is important. It doesn't matter the yarn cost or the project difficulty. Every project is important to us as a maker. However, there are different projects that it's like, okay, all right, so I just got to pick up a few stitches on that, or, you know, whatever. Or you set up a dummy project bag, you know, because you do want to maintain safety. You know, you don't want them getting a hold of the scissors or the light bulb stitch markers. Yeah, whatever those are, you know. Because, again, children will do that. They're all of a sudden be getting a hold of the things that you don't want them to have. Right? Right. And if you're about to tell me, well, you got to keep an eye on your kids and all of that, if you have multiple children of different ages, it can be very difficult to give each child the level of attention that they need at all times, as well as go to the bathroom and make dinner and all of that. So if you got some snarky ass comment about parents need to keep better eye on their children and stuff, like, this is not the place for you. Okay, go yell at somebody on Facebook about their parenting. Okay, let's just do that. Anyway, so the expectation is that we want to keep our children safe, and we want to keep our projects safe. And the way that we do that is by working within the children's age capabilities and within the space that we have in our living quarters. You know, our bedroom is not easily accessible to the youngest child because it's down some stairs and, you know, we have a gate and all of that. So our bedroom, that's the first pass. So I'll probably do about 3 passes and then roll leg it off. So let us see. Where were we? Oh, space. So if you are the type of family where your kids don't have access to your bedroom, it's not a place for them to play, or if there is a room in the house, like you have a craft room or whatever, or there's a shelf or a closet or whatever, where you can safely keep things and keep them there until you're going to use them, and make it a point that that's where you put them when you're done. Same as we try to teach them to clean up their shit when they're done. You get, two birds, one stone. You keep your stuff safe, you keep them stuff safe, and you, well, 3 birds, I guess. And you teach them through modeling that they need to pick up the crap, put it away. So that's expectations around safety and age and stuff. And perhaps expectations around what you're going to be able to do. And let's discuss also the expectation of what we want to do. Now, if you have always been a complicated sweater knitter, but all of a sudden you want nothing to do with complicated sweaters, and you don't understand, because this is like how you identify yourself as a sweater knitter. It's complicated, difficult. They bring you joy. They make you feel good and satisfied, but they're not doing that anymore. Doesn't mean you've lost your mojo. Doesn't mean that something's wrong. It just means it's not working right now for you to do that. And it's okay to try something else instead. We get like this really weird tendency to identify ourselves by our craft in the making world. Like, I'm a knitter, I'm a crochet, I'm a this, I'm a that. I'm multi-craftual. You know what? You're multi-craftual, great. But you don't want to do anything other than spin yarn for a year or 2 or whatever, and you are decidedly not multi-craftual. That is okay. This is making. This brings joy. This is what we do, a lot of us, for ourselves. There are many people who do it for other people, whether it's charities or for other people in their lives. And then there are people who don't do shit for anybody other than themselves. And all of that is okay. Like, that's all okay. The expectation that you have to continue doing things the way you've always done them, you don't need to. Work on removing that expectation for yourself, for your sanity. Please, it will save your sanity. I promise. So that's my little chat on expectations as a parent who is a maker. I came into this, making this little video series, like, with a plan. I wanted to write up outlines, and I wanted to have clear, concise, pretty videos with lots of editing and things like that. And then I had to change my expectations because my brain space isn't really there. My time is nap times, sometimes on the weekend. But I've got other stuff to do. And editing and doing all of that isn't high on that list. My expectation is that I still want to share this with people while I'm in the thick of it, because I think it's necessary to share while you're in the thick of it, so you remember and you know what you're going through, and you know that feeling, and you know how hard and hopeless it can feel sometimes to just get that time to yourself. Why can't they leave my knitting alone? Why can't they leave the spinning wheel alone? And you have to answer that for yourself, and you have to find your workarounds for yourself. And for me, it was, I needed to take a shower. I was going to get that done before I do this video. And I want to do this blending of fiber, but I want to make this video. So, expectations, modifications, compromises, all of that. Part of being a maker while you're a parent. I think I'm going to leave off with that. And I want to remind you that you are worth whatever decision you make. You are worth whatever good decision you make for yourself in every area of life. And if nobody has told you that or reminded you of that, this is your reminder. Okay? I hope this helps you. If you have any suggestions or thoughts or comments about this idea of expectations as parents and makers, if you want to share about your struggles as a parent that is also a maker, please comment down below. Let me know what you think. I would love to hear about it. Other people can always benefit from shared experiences if you're willing to share. And with that, I will leave you folks, and I will see you next time. Adios.